Hello, beautiful souls, divine beings. Welcome in this lovely space with me. Today, I feel guided to do another collective reading. So, in these collective readings, I pick up on all the messages that want to come through and I bring them together in one reading. So, you can listen to the whole reading and you will consciously and/or unconsciously pick out the messages that are for you. Or you can tap into your intuition, move over the timer, feel where you need to stop, and then there will be a message or messages for you. So, collective, the first message that really comes through very strong is the one of the story or the parable of the mustard seed. So, there is really this message in here of the smallest act that you do. Never underestimate the smallest act that you do, because they can have a massive impact. They can have a massive effect. It's the parable of the mustard tree is of the mustard seed is the smallest seed that there is. And if you plant it, if you sow it, if you nourish it, it can grow out to a big tree. So really the message in here, maybe some of you are doing certain small acts and spirit is really coming through with an acknowledgement about that, and also to put your awareness in all the small acts that you do, to don't underestimate them, because they can have a massive effect. So in both ways, to be aware of all the small things that you do, and also don't underestimate the small things that you do, because they have an effect. So I also feel in here that for some this is a confirmation of maybe you are doing certain things and you are not seeing any result, but just trust in the process. Whatever you sow, whatever you plant, if you water it, if you nourish it with the right nutrition, it's gonna grow. Just trust in the process. There is another message here for anyone who feels isolated in a sense. And isolation not in the sense of loneliness, because we are never alone. If we feel lonely, it means we are not connected to God's source spirit. But it's more this feeling of isolation where you feel like life or people are closing doors on you. There is a sense of rejection in here also, but it's more about the feeling of feeling isolated, which also doesn't mean that you are not amongst people, but there is this sense of I feel isolated. And for whomever feels spoken to with this, there is really this message of if you feel isolated, there is a very big opportunity in there, because if you are isolated, it offers your guidance, it offers God's source spirit, your personal guidance, to make you aware of certain things that you would otherwise not be aware of if you would be amongst other people. If you hear any sounds, it's my dog. I keep on saying it, but if you are new here, if you hear any sounds, it's my dog. So if you feel isolated, there is a reason for that, because in the isolation, God's source spirit or your guidance, your personal guidance, can come through with certain things that they would otherwise not be able to catch your attention. So if you feel isolated, try to switch your perspective into connecting more and being aware of what your guidance wants to show you. because there is a reason why you feel isolated. And again, it's not loneliness. It's feeling isolated, as if certain doors are closing for you. It is to create a certain space where you are present with yourself. And in that presence with yourself, your guidance can come through and make you aware of certain things that you need to become aware of in this time, whenever you feel isolated. So again, there it's about switching your perspective, because feeling isolated, it has a negative sense around it, but there is something very positive there. It's your guidance that is moving you in a certain place where you can be aware of whatever wants to come through. So if the isolation is there, embrace it. Don't see it as a punishment, because it's opposite of a punishment. We have 2 times 7 here on the table. Spiritual support, but also your intuition, your guidance wants to come through. And this feels very related to what I just said about the isolation. 7 is 3 times on the table. There is massive there is a lot of messages that want to come through, but you need to be in silence for that. In silence, and more than that, again to the isolation, because if you feel isolated, it's if you feel isolated, it's more than just moments of silence, because if you are isolated, or if you feel isolated, this atmosphere that has been created in isolation reveals a lot more than just moments of silence. If your attention gets caught by birds of prey, go into their symbolism. The birds of prey are really, really communicating with many of you, I feel here. There is really this darkness coming through with this. It's this isolation. It's running through the reading still now. And there is really this sense coming through of the dark night of the soul, being in darkness and not seeing in the dark. And I feel for some you are trapped in the perspective about the isolation. So it's really about looking with your one true eye. Don't allow your human senses to take over here, but tap into your true nature and allow your one true eye to see. Allow yourself to see this situation from a different perspective. If you understand that you are being isolated because your guidance wants to communicate with you, it puts you in a place of strength. It puts you in a place of receptance. It pulls you out of being trapped in in a perception that is unreal. So whomever feels spoken to with this, do your utmost best to switch your perspective here. There is light in whatever situation you are. Always, you are the light. You are the light. But there is also light coming from above. And it's that light that wants to communicate with you now. So focus on that. I come back to this. I feel some of you really been trapped in the dark in this moment. And I see a lot of confusion there also. I see a lot of confusion according to signs. Maybe some of you are looking too hard to see certain things, trying too hard to find something. And then there is this tapping into your true self, tapping into or connecting to the wisdom that is available for all of us. And instead of trying to do something, just be. Just be, and be in this receptive state. Open your hands. Also, certain body postures I feel in here that can be helpful to change your energy, because even the smallest body posture also has a certain energy. If I do this, I close down. But if I simply do this, it already shifts something within my energy field. And I don't have to do anything for that. I just have to change my posture to an open posture. And I feel this is relevant for someone or for some to just start with that open. Open, and again get out of that mind, because there is a lot of trying to analyze certain things, situations, and it feels like a mind cage. It feels like a trap in the mind, and it feels very confusing. It feels very suppressing. I also feel for some, you want to, or you try to reach out for help, but no help is coming. It's like you are reaching out your hand, but no one's taking your hand. And again, to this isolation, it's because you are reaching for something outside of yourself, while This is, it's kind of a rejection. You are reaching for help, no one is taking your hand, so it demands for you to go back inside. It demands for you to go back inside and to ask for help in the right place, which is God, Source, Spirit, your guidance. This is where you need to reach your hand, to open your hand. It's all there. Whatever you are searching for, whatever you are seeking for, it's all within you, within yourself, and the connection with God, Source, Spirit. It's all there. If the outside world is closing down on you, if doors are closing down on you, if the outside world is rejecting you, it's forcing you to come back to this. And this is truth. The outside world is it doesn't last. This is infinite. And God, Source, Spirit, your guidance is always there at all times. And this really asks to be strengthened. It's like it's the same with the seed. If you plant a seed, the more you water it, so you plant the seed and it starts to get little roots. And the more you water it, the more you take care of it, the stronger the roots are growing. And I feel that also in here, like for some, I feel this, it's a very thin line. The connection is always there, but we are just not always aware of it. And I feel for some there is this very thin line from your heart through your third eye, crown chakra, to Source, God, Source, Spirit. And it's about the more you connect, the more this channel, this line will will expand. So it's really about nourishing the connection with your guidance, the connection with God, Source, Spirit. And to don't put too much activity here, because for some I really feel a lot of activity in the mind, and there it's again focus on your heart. Start from your heart space, open up your heart space and connect from there to your guidance, and nourish, water that channel. There is a message in here for some to allow yourself to play. Allow yourself to play without being fearful of what other people think. Just allow yourself to play. What else is here? I feel some father figures coming through here, or some people that are in your life that represent a father figure in whatever way you judge them, positive or negative, but there are some father figures coming through here. And I also feel in here that for some it's important to connect with that father line and clear out some things that are um, that are in the way there. There are some things that are asking for your attention. And I go back to this child playing, allow yourself to play. I feel for some there is a message in here that maybe your father didn't allow you to play, or maybe he did. So for some there is a message in here to connect to your father line, and in that way connect to your playfulness, connect to your own child. For others, if you feel blocked to play like a child, then there is something in your father line to look at. And I also feel this father line is coming through very strong, and there is the ancestors also coming through here, like they are watching you and they are watching over you, both. So it feels like there is a certain responsibility on your shoulders to break through certain patterns, generational trauma. And in that sense, it feels like your ancestors are watching you, and they are counting on you in a sense to break this generational trauma. But they are also watching you. You are also very protected. And there again, this feels related to the birds of prey. So whenever you have an encounter with a certain bird of prey, be aware of what pops in your head, because messages are coming through from your ancestors according to your father line. I feel for most of you this is about your direct line through your father and his ancestors. For some it might also be a mother line, but it feels very male. So it's also possible that your mother or someone in your mother line had a very masculine energy, but it's a very masculine energy that is in this line, that is asking for attention or that is helping you with being able to play, to allow yourself to play. For some, it's important to connect to the color gold. Or to wear gold, but to connect to the frequency of gold. To remember that there is gold within you, the frequency of gold is within you. And there is a message for some to connect to that frequency within yourself. It's like finding your own treasure cave within you and connect with that. Light codes. There are light codes also here activating many of you. Also, again, to this darkness, feeling isolated, being trapped in the dark. Whomever felt spoken to with that, this is really a message for you also. Connect with your solar plexus and your sacral chakra. In between them, or activate both of them and find the place in between them, and there imagine the color gold. This will open up blockages that are there. Connect to your own gold. If it's difficult for you to find the frequency of gold within you, then make a link with sunflower. Put a sunflower in between your solar plexus and in between your sacral chakra. Just put a sunflower there, let it be open, and maybe imagine yourself that you are watering that flower. And open your hands while you do that. Again, to this being trapped in the darkness, it's change your posture, open your hands, open your body, your posture, and focus on that point between your solar chakra and your sacral chakra. There is stuff there that needs to be moved. For some, you can imagine that the flower is closing and opening. Allow it to move, or allow it to move in the wind, but allow that flower to move, because the movement of the flower will also allow for the energy that is stuck there to be moved. And open your hands again. While you do that, open your hands, open your posture. There are treasures within you that want to reveal itself. There are treasures within you that want to reveal itself. And it's important to don't think about this. It's important to feel. Just feel. There is a message for some to connect to the ocean. And also with this, the movement of the flower, it also feels for some it's very helpful to connect with the ocean and to imagine or really go in. But if you cannot go in, imagine being in the ocean and being at the reefs and see this movement of the coral. See the movement of the fish. There is really a message in here to connect with the movement that is in the ocean. The movement that is in the ocean and the atmosphere that is in the ocean. The silence, but it's not completely silent, but it's a different dimension. So for some, connect with the ocean and imagine being in the water and swimming around and looking at the movement of the coral in the water. Look at the movement of the fish in the water. This also will allow certain things that need to be moved to move within your physical vessel or within your energetic body also. If you feel guided to make certain sounds while you do that, just allow your body to react in whatever way it wants to react. If you start to shake, it's possible for some you're going to start to shake while doing this. If you feel that, don't worry about that, because the shaking is energy that was blocked before that has been released. So just allow your body to react in whatever way it wants to react. Hold space for yourself, don't judge it, and don't try to control it. Just allow it to do whatever it wants to do. There is a message in here for some who feel conflicted about a certain call, a certain um, inspiration you got, something you feel called to do, but you feel conflicted because of circumstances. If that is your story, Spirit comes through with a message. Just trust in your intuition. Trust in your intuition. Try to find your state of surrender and stay in a state of faith and trust. The conflict that is there with a reason, but there is also a message in there to don't get engaged in the conflict that is there. Trust in your intuition and surrender. Surrender into faith and trust. Whatever is right for you, you know what is right for you, even though it can create conflict, just stick with the feeling that it's right for you and trust. If someone has pain in their teeth, Spirit comes through to look into the symbolism of a specific tooth, because there is a message in there for you. And it's very possible, if you look into the symbolism of that exact tooth that is hurting, that the pain will go away. Your body is trying to pull your attention to something. And it has to do with nutrition, but maybe not with literal the nutrition we put into our body, but there is something about what are you feeding yourself, what are you feeding your soul, your thoughts, the things you focus on, the things you watch, the things you listen. There is something aching. And it's important to look at the cause, to don't treat the symptom. Look into the cause. Spirit also comes through with a message here for whomever is working very hard on creating their dreams, on visualization, feeling into the visions, the imaginations you got. Spirit is coming through with a message of, I see you. I see all the effort that you put into, and I bring you a promise of stability. I bring you a promise of security, of safety, of being in a stable position. There is also a message in this, whomever feels spoken to with this, Spirit is coming through. Remember to be generous. Remember to share whatever you have. And share from a place of abundance. Share from a place of wealth. Share from a place of prosperity. Know that there are, if you catch one fish, know that there are many fish around it. So if you catch one fish, share it with others, and then catch the other fish. It's funny how this comes through. And also for whomever feels spoken to with this, if you are working very hard and masterful on your dreams, on the fulfillment of your dreams, you are really building a very solid base for yourself. What you are building is very, very solid. The foundation is very rooted. And it's a perfect foundation for you to sit on your throne. But in between there, be generous. Share and be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Sorry for the snoring. Okay, one more. There is fertility for all. And I come back to the mustard seed. Come back to the mustard seed in the sense of be aware the smallest acts you do, the smallest seeds you plant. Always make sure that they are coming from the right place because they are growing into something. And there is a lot of fertility in whatever we plant now. There is a lot of fertility in whatever we put our attention to now. Energy flows where attention goes. So wherever you put your attention, coming back to this seed, there is something you are putting attention in that is, it's not the right nutrition for you. So for all, whatever we put our attention in now, the times are very fertile. Everything is growing very fast. Everything is expanding very fast. Everything is multiplying very fast. So be aware what plants you seed and how you water them, how you nourish them, how you take care of them, because they are growing. They are growing into something. Okay, my beautiful collective, this is what I have for you. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the reading. And I'm sending lots of love, lots of light, lots of peace and blessings for each and every one.